Our journey begins with a flight to Johannesburg, where we connect with our onward flight to Zimbabwe's Victoria Falls. We enjoy a welcome dinner and overnight stay before making the 3-hour trip to Hwange National Park the next morning. We have 3 nights at Hwange, then return to Victoria Falls for a 3-night stay. Next stop is Chobe National Park in Botswana, a mere 90 minutes by road. We have 2 nights here, then take a light plane ride into the Okavango Delta for a 3-night stay. From here we take a short flight to Hwange and connect with our onward flight to South Africa's iconic city of Cape Town. We have 4 nights here before our flight back to Australia via Johannesburg. We arrive into Victoria Falls early afternoon and transfer to our beautiful lodge which overlooks a waterhole, giving us the opportunity to spot a variety of animals as they saunter through the vegetation for a drink. We settle into our comfortable and well-appointed rooms, all of which have balconies overlooking the wilderness beyond. And in the evening we enjoy a welcome dinner as the sun dips below the horizon. The following morning we board our coach for the drive to Hwange National Park, passing through a number of small villages along the way. After about 90 minutes we arrive at the entrance to Hwange, where we are met by drivers and vehicles from the Hide. This now is our first real opportunity to spot some of the prolific game and bird life of Hwange National Park, as we drive through the bush towards our lodge. The Hide has an unrivaled reputation for excellence and is consistently voted one of the best safari lodges in Zimbabwe, and with very good reason. Located in a prime position in Hwange National Park, the Hide offers first-class comfort and facilities, and an enriching safari experience with fantastic game viewing literally right on your doorstep. The main lodge and each of the luxury tented rooms overlook a wildlife-rich waterhole, providing an ever-changing vista as elephant, waterbuck, wildebeest, zebra and impala, to name but a few, congregate to drink and splash about in the cooling waters. Hwange National Park is home to around 30,000 elephants, and there's no better way to view them at close range than from the Hide, for which the lodge is named. Cleverly buried into the earth, a series of shipping containers are laid end to end, and as we step inside, a short walk takes us to a viewing platform at the end, which is located just a couple of metres from the edge of the waterhole. Viewing the animals at such close quarters is an extraordinary experience and provides fantastic photographic opportunities. During our 3 days at Hwange, we have the opportunity to experience 5 or 6 game drives. A typical day begins with an early light breakfast, before setting off in our open jeeps at around 6 a.m. as nature begins to stir. Our expert guides have trained for years to reach the high standards required to become professional licensed guides in Zimbabwe, and they appear to have a sixth sense when it comes to spotting that elusive leopard, or discovering lions lazily lounging in the long grass, or sensing where the herd of zebra will break free from the bush and head into the density of the forest. Hwange has long been known for its abundant and diverse wildlife. Less well known to those new to an African safari are the 400 species of bird, among them the colourful and exotic lilac-breasted roller, and the ubiquitous yellow-billed hornbill, known to the locals as the flying banana. We drive along the tracks in the park for a couple of hours, stopping for photo ops and just to observe the animals' behaviour. A pair of mating lions is remarkably unperturbed by our presence. Indeed, all of the animals we encounter as we wend our way through the bush just carry on as though we weren't there. Mid-morning we stop and enjoy a morning tea prepared by our guides, and it's also a great spot for a group shot. Then it's back to the hide for lunch and a bit of R&R in the afternoon before heading out again towards dusk. Of course, no African safari would be complete without a sprinkling of sundowners, and on our final night in Hwange, we arrive at a very special place, where the waterhole is fringed with palm trees. As we enjoy our drinks, the elephants begin to arrive in force. This is the only place in Hwange where we can safely be outside of our vehicles while observing the elephants at close range. We watch them from across the waterhole, and as the sky turns orange and red, they make a majestic silhouette against the tall trees. The next day, we return to Victoria Falls for a 3-night stay at the famous Victoria Falls Hotel, one of the great colonial properties in Africa. Built in 1904 by the British, it was originally conceived as accommodation for workers on the Cape to Cairo Railway. Over the years, most members of the British royal family have stayed here, and the hallways are lined with photos and early sketches. This is a completely different change of pace now, as we relax in the Edwardian charm of the hotel and its beautiful grounds and terrace, which overlook the famous bridge and the falls themselves. One of the major highlights of our stay at Victoria Falls is a helicopter flight over this amazing wonder of the world. The excitement mounts as we settle into our seats and set off, cameras at the ready, to view the falls and the mighty Zambezi from every angle. At nearly 2 kilometres wide and 100 metres deep, they form the largest curtain of falling water in the world. The falls are formed as the full width of the Zambezi River plummets into a 108-metre high cleft. Victoria Falls is spectacular at any time of year, but during the wet season, the spray can be seen nearly 50 kilometres away, hence the local name, Mozi Uatunya, the smoke that thunders. When explorer David Livingstone discovered them in 1855, he renamed them in honour of Queen Victoria. We make several circuits of the falls, which gives ample opportunity for us to take it all in with the naked eye, as well as capturing it through the camera's lens. Seeing Victoria Falls at ground level is an amazing experience, but to fly above these majestic falls is just something else. The next day we crossed the border into Botswana, destination Kasane, and our excellent lodge, located right on the edge of the Chobe River, which flows through the national park. Chobe is a true wildlife paradise and one of the best national parks in southern Africa. It offers quite a different safari experience to that of Hwange. With the Chobe River flowing through the park, it provides an extremely lush environment which draws many animals and birds during the dry season. Here we have the opportunity to drive the dirt tracks of the park in search of lion, leopard and many species of antelope, including the beautiful red lechwe. Perhaps not as well known as some of its cousins, it is exciting to spot these beautiful animals which flourish in Botswana's wetlands. And then there's the myriad bird life which inhabits these wetlands, side by side with their larger-than-life neighbours. In particular, the beautiful malachite kingfisher, which calls this park home. During our 2-night stay at Chobe, we also enjoy a couple of boat safaris, which allows us to get up close to the huge population of elephants that splash around in the water and wallow in the mud. Chobe also has a big population of hippos that bask in the waters and provide a meal for some of the park's bird life. As we meander through the canals and waterways of Chobe, we get up close to the wildlife, which allows for unforgettable sightings and excellent photo opportunities. The next morning, we head to Kasane Airport for our flight to the Okavango Delta and the Marimi Game Reserve. The flight takes around an hour, and as we begin to gain height, we start to see the Chobe River and the network of canals and waterways spread out beneath us. Before too long, we start to see the vegetation and waterways that signal our approach to the magnificent Okavango Delta. This area is deemed to be one of the world's premier wilderness areas, and it is without doubt Botswana's crowning glory and a major highlight of our safari adventure. Soon we see the airstrip come into view, and within a few minutes we begin our descent. As we land, everyone aboard is buzzing with anticipation for our 3-day stay in one of the world's premier wilderness areas. The Marimi Game Reserve is just over 4,500 square kilometres of pure, untamed wilderness. To visit this area is to experience a diversity of landscapes, each completely unique in its own way. Our home for the next 3 nights is Camp Zakanaka, the first lodge of its kind to be established inside the Marimi Game Reserve. Sitting on the banks of the River Kwai, it is one of the top properties in southern Africa and is noted for its first-class amenities, luxurious tented rooms, and the warmth, humour and dedication of its welcoming team. Over the course of our stay in the Delta, we have multiple opportunities for both jeep and boat safaris. The early morning game drives are magical as we drive into the bush and watch as the sky begins to lighten and the reserve slowly comes to life. As the morning wears on, we crisscross through the reserve, driving along the dirt tracks and navigating the network of waterways that make this such a rich and diverse wildlife environment. It is a joy to be out in the heart of this pristine wilderness and excitedly anticipating the next encounter. No 2 days are the same, and indeed no 2 game drives are the same. In this game-rich reserve there is always much to see, and the experience is heightened by the anticipation of what might be around the next corner.
Well, here we are on the last night of our game drives. To go back 12 days ago, we all assembled at Johannesburg Airport and we had a little briefing, and I said, with any luck you might see this, you might see that, you might see the other. We've seen everything.
I'm so pleased I came on this tour. I've seen everything I wanted to see and extra. I've seen leopards up trees, I've seen them climb trees, I've seen wild dogs, I've seen lions, I've even seen lions mating.
The things about this trip that have been highlights for me are how close you get to the animals. There's been such a variety of them and all mixed together there, but close to you. They're not afraid of us, and that's so exciting. Not what I expected.
The highlights, it's hard to pick one. It's all been fantastic. Exceeded all our expectations. The Okavango Delta has been one surprise after another.
I came on this trip hoping to get close to the big 5 animals of Africa. I've had a leopard within 3 feet of the car, an elephant about 1.5 metres from the car, and a lion 2 metres from the car.
This has been a wonderful trip. Just a series of wow moments, animals, encounters, nice people, good camaraderie, just a whole lot of fun.
This has been a fantastic day. The leopards, beautiful elephants, everything you want. It's a joy to be here.
Probably the thing that I remember the most is as we were driving up to the camp, a huge elephant came right up to the safari vehicle and basically eyeballed us, was within touching distance, and we all had to sit there frozen and let it walk around and then walk away.
The name of the tour was absolutely appropriate, Southern African Magic, because everything about the tour was magic. And the most magical thing, every day was getting better and better and better, seeing the leopard with the cub. Today was just the icing on the cake. We saw a leopard with her kill up on the tree, and the hyenas circling down below looking for scraps.
I've had a wonderful time, I can thoroughly recommend it.
It's just been amazing, and we'd recommend the trip to anyone.
But this trip has just been one experience after another. Totally awesome. Thank you.
It was magic. It couldn't get any better than this. I love it.
And so, after 3 wonderful days in the Okavango Delta, we enjoy a final lunch and a songful farewell from our warm and friendly hosts at the lodge. The final leg of our journey takes us to South Africa's iconic city of Cape Town. Known affectionately as the Mother City, Cape Town is noted for its waterfronts, trendy restaurants, and sun-soaked sandy beaches. Lying between the Atlantic Ocean and the majestic Table Mountain, with a national park at its heart, there is nowhere quite like it. It is the very essence of the Rainbow Nation, as it proudly blends African, European, and Asian sensibilities into an intoxicating blend of culinary, architectural, and musical styles. A highlight of our stay at the port city is a cable car ride to the top of Table Mountain, an exhilarating ride as we climb the near vertical cliffs to the mountain's flat top in slowly rotating cable cars. From the mountain's flat summit, we are greeted with sweeping views of the city, the busy harbour, and boats heading for Robben Island, the notorious prison that once held Nelson Mandela. The Cape Town region is characterised by an extensive coastline, rugged mountain ranges, and semi-desert fringes. To the immediate south lies the Cape Peninsula, a scenic mountainous spine jutting 40 kilometres southwards into the Atlantic Ocean and terminating at Cape Point. During our stay, we enjoy a full-day tour of the peninsula, a journey through incomparable scenery. We drive along the Atlantic seaboard and onto the Cape of Good Hope Nature Reserve and its scenic viewing point. Here, at the most southerly point of the African continent, the views are simply breathtaking. African Safari Magic is a wonderful 19-day adventure that blends an exciting mix of wildlife and culture. From the game reserves of Zimbabwe and Botswana that reveal a vast array of mammals and a diverse mix of exotic bird life, to the thundering curtains of water that crash into the ravines at Victoria Falls, and the cliffs of the southernmost point of the African continent, this remarkable journey has it all.